Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you so much, as always, for downloading or streaming the Be Our Guest podcast. Today, we have some awesome listener questions. Pam joins me, and we have fun talking Disney with you. Hope you enjoy today's show because we're talking about split stays here on one of the questions, and it's a great one. And I'm still thinking about this one 45 minutes after the show because it's a question about a split stay between Pop Century and Coronado Springs for a 7-night vacation. And I still don't know whether they should stay the entire stay at Coronado Springs or stick with the 4 nights at Pop Century and 3 nights at Coronado. It's a very unique experience. So listen to the question and tell us what you think over in the Discord. Also, Diane has a question about Christmas dining, not in the theme parks, but she's looking for a restaurant that's going to give her the holiday feel, but not in a theme park. Where would you point Diane in this situation? Also, parking at the theme parks if you're a resort guest and much more coming your way on today's show. Don't forget, today's podcast always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure for no additional cost to you. Check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys make all these shows possible. We could not do this without you. You can support us as well, just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. This is where your memories come front and center on our podcast stage.
Welcome to episode 2581 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're getting ready for an outstanding Halloween tomorrow and get out there and all the tricks or treats and eat all the candy. Even if you don't go trick-or-treating, swing by the big cauldron that's sitting by your front door, grab a fun-sized candy or 3 and, eat them up today. Why wait for the holiday? Eat it today. I said it's good. Go for it. Live life. Have fun. Live Moss, as they say in Taco Bell land, where I love. So we're going to have a great day today. We're going to be answering your listener questions. It's a 2-person show. We're going to have a good time today. Joining me out in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or in that general vicinity in her bunker. You don't know exactly where she is, but she's in that area. We have Pam Forrester. She's the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. Pam, happy Wednesday. What's up?
Happy Wednesday. I don't know. How is it, first of all, the end of October, let alone October?
I like it though, except this weekend is an hour longer. We get to fall back. I mean,
Yes.
I like the extra hour sleep idea, but because we have to go for a cheerleading championship at Mizzou this weekend, go Howl cheer, trying to win a state championship. And we take the stage at 9 a.m. in Columbia. It's 2-hour drive, so we have to leave here at 5 a.m. on Saturday. So that'll be an appreciated extra hour sleep this weekend. But yeah, that getting dark thing on Sunday night at 2 in the afternoon, rough. Dude, it's like the dog's crazy. I'm crazy, because that first night, I mean, is this not true for you guys? Because I go to bed early. I'll be sitting there this is every year. And as I get older, it's even worse. At 8:30 at night, I'll be watching Sunday Night Football after the live call-in show on Sunday night. And I'll be like, telling Pam, is it midnight? Is it midnight? It's been dark for 12 hours already. Is it no, it's 8:30. It feels like it's midnight already. I can't stand the time change then. Oh, it's rough. So I'm not looking forward to 3 days from now.
And it does get harder as you get older to make the time change. It just does.
Any kind of change is hard when you get to be my age. It's rough, man.
Remember how you used to feel about your parents, though?
I am my parents. I'm a grandpa. I'm Grandpa Charlie at this point.
Well, I'm glad you don't have to podcast from a bed.
Hey, Hugh Freeze coached a couple games from a hospital bed one time down at Liberty, I think. I don't think I'm there yet, but let's hope not. So we have been having a password on our Sunday Night Live call-in shows for our callers before they're allowed to talk Disney with us. They have to, get past the password. And this past Sunday night, we had two. You had your choice. It was either the craziest candy or item that you got in your pillowcase or your, Halloween bag, candy bag as a kid, or your best Halloween costume from childhood. So which one are you going to go with? What do you got?
So I think Halloween costume, and it was one that my mom actually made. So in addition to like the ones, that you had where you could like pierce your eyeballs, right? And get, you couldn't see out of. Like
Mhm.
somehow those were the most sharp
Razor.
openings in the world and useless
Yes.
openings in the world. My mom made me this one when I was in school. I was young, elementary school, and I was a popcorn, like the popcorn vendor at like a circus or something like that. And so then I got to take in popcorn too to everyone. So that was kind of
Man.
cool.
Not only
Right?
like creative, but also very winning over your clientele.
Exactly. Yes. I was making friends for sure. But yes, I remember this. Like I remember being very excited about this costume and how it was coming along. And then I think for the like next 3 or 4 years I was Casper, the same costume
Yeah, oh,
for the
yeah.
next 3 or 4
Totally.
years.
And once you hit like 12 to like 16, you just like, you're like, I'm a bum. It's like, you look like that all the time. All you did do was tie your
Right.
shoes. That's the only difference. Like,
These are
your
just
shirt's
regular
backwards.
clothes.
You're-
But yeah.
you just look
Yeah.
like Tuesday. No, anyway. All right. Well, yeah, again, we'll talk about this as the show comes out tomorrow. Just be careful on your way home tomorrow, just because kids be out there running around like crazy. Just slow down on the way home from work, because you got to watch out for them, because they won't be watching out for themselves. All right. Diane is in the chat, and we appreciate her. She's always here. She says, hey, taking a trip to Walt Disney World soon. Which restaurant, non-park, would you recommend for the most holiday feel? Doesn't matter which meal. Thanks. Ooh, that's a great question. Because we were just talking about how we're excited on Friday, the Sirius XM channels kick on for the holidays. And so they're getting close. And so Walt Disney World will be getting in the holiday spirit here, because, as soon as Halloween's over on Thursday, it's, full bore pretty soon. Holidays are kicking down at the parks. Man, the best holiday feel. Man. So obviously
Non-park.
Non-park.
That's hard.
I would say, okay, well, I mean, this is obviously during the holiday season. I have two, and it's kind of adjacent experiences. One, I would say Whispering Canyon, because it's open to the big Christmas tree at Wilderness Lodge, and it gives you an excuse to go to the lodge. You got to go to the lodge at Christmas. Have to do that.
Yes.
Good meal, too. Also, Grand Floridian Cafe, because, again, adjacent to the Grand Floridian, you get the Grand Floridian's kind of the Victorian feel, Christmas kind of thing, and you got the gingerbread house that you can check out, and you can buy a shingle. I mean, where else can you actually chew on a house and take it home?
Right. I know.
Yeah.
A piece of a house. Yeah, I'm going to go with a couple that are adjacent too. And that's somewhere over at the Yacht and Beach Club. Because if you don't know, the Yacht Club has this really cool train display. And you have to sort of check it out, because they have so many little things that have a Disney theme to it. Like there's a Hurricane Hannah's in there and whatnot. So there, I'd probably go to Ale and Compass, or if you're looking for something fancy, of course, you could do Yachtsman's Steakhouse. That would be a fun kind of meal. And over at the Beach Club, you could go to Cape May Cafe. And over there, they also have this fantastic gingerbread carousel. If you haven't seen it yet, it's spectacular. Like it's like almost like a full-sized kids carousel. And they do such a fantastic job. It's made out of usually like chocolate and gingerbread and whatnot. And you're looking at it and you're like, I cannot believe that this is made out of something edible. It turns around. There's always usually a little plaque there that tells you how many pounds of sugar they had to use to make it and whatnot. And heck, while you're there, walk over and see over at the boardwalk too. one other thing that they started doing at the beach club last year was they actually started selling gingerbread in the lobby as well. There was a little store there too, so you can get some gingerbread treats there too.
I
So
will say that gingerbread carousel reminds me very much again of my childhood. They had a carousel about the exact same size outside of our Kmart in my town. Now,
oh yeah.
the one at the yacht and the beach smells, I think is it yacht is where it is, right? Is it yacht, isn't it typically?
No,
I
the
don't know if it's
beach club is where the carousel
The
is. The yacht
train
club
is
is
at
where the
yacht.
train is.
Okay, yep, I love the train. Okay, so the carousel though smells much better at Beach Club than it did at my Kmart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's also
Yeah,
prettier.
The Kmart carousel has
sketch.
questionable smells,
Yeah.
probably.
Oh, absolutely. In Florissant, Missouri, did not smell great. But, I got the quarter and rode that sucker. And there was always, I don't know if like where you guys grew up, there was the carousel, the little bitty quarter carousel outside my Kmart. And then there was like the yellow horse, like the single horse, like you could get on that like bucked you. I mean, not hard, like it just kind of
Right.
like shook you.
Yes.
Like, I don't know
We
what our
usually
obsession was with getting shook as kids, but we loved that.
We also usually had like a rocket,
Yes.
some
What
kind of
was wrong with
space vehicle of some sort.
The good old days, getting shook and rocketed to the moon. All right, next question is from Len. It's been a while since we visited with our kids. We were able to drop them off at the kids club while we went to dinner. Now that we're traveling with the grandchildren, we're wondering if this type of service is still available at resort hotels. Pam Forrester, is this still available?
It is not.
I know.
It is not. No, I know. It is. You know the one for a while, Yacht and Beach, or not Yacht and Beach Club, but Swan and Dolphin did have something available if you were dining there. I don't know that even that one's still around though. So no, there are not kids clubs like there used to be. I remember Hannah was really little, and it was probably not long before the service ended, but we took her to the Neverland Club at the Polynesian. That was like the flagship kids club that it was. But no, I don't think there is. I do believe though that Kids Night Out is still operating, so you can have someone come to your room and do that kind of thing, but there is no organized kids service like that.
We used to always threaten Paige, like when she was young, like 4, 5, 6. If she was bad, we're gonna slam her in the Neverland Club, like jail.
Wow.
Like we're like, dude, you're going to the Neverland Club, and we're going out if you're bad. I mean, I don't know if the Neverland Club was fun, but we're just like, we're putting you in there, kid. Not that it was like a reward or anything, because like they had commercials like on the resort TV and stuff. Like, yeah, you're going there,
Right.
Because we go or we pass it on the way, to dinner at Kona or something. Yeah, we're gonna. Because she was like an only kid, so we're gonna drop her off. Like she won't go there by herself. We're like, yeah, shape up or ship out, kind of thing.
Oh.
But yeah, that was a cool thing. But here, you know what this is? This kind of sings what Disney Cruise Line has to offer, right? Because
yes, right.
Disney Cruise Line, man, the kids, you can do this with the kids, grandkids, and I'll tell you what, the kids love the kids club, Oceaneer Lab, Oceaneer Club, Edge Vibe. I mean, if there's one, I mean, Disney Cruise Line does so many things so well. Real quick, I mean, I know Lynn's not asking about DCL, but kids love their spaces on the ships. If you ever get an opportunity, I mean, that's an opportunity where everybody can come together for dinner or not, if they don't want to. But those areas that are separated for the tweens, the teens, the kids, amazing. Disney Cruise Line.
For sure. I think that it kind of takes the guilt out of doing an adult only dinner, because your kids actually get to have a fun time in the kids club. So yeah, many parents are like, we had to drag them out of the kids club. It's like,
Same.
yeah, I know.
And Len said his kids love the clubs at Walt Disney World, had to drag them away. It's exactly the story on Cruise Line. So I'm glad to hear that. We were just joking with Paige because, I mean, I'll be honest, Len, I was cheap and I wasn't going to pay for it. We already did pay for the tickets. We're going to go around and have a good time in the parks. So, yeah, that's the whole reason we were there, for the three of us to be together. So that was kind of the deal. All right, Sean's got a question. Hey, happy Monday, BOGP crew. I like it. Blending Monday and Wednesday. Very smart.
Yes.
My wife and daughter just planned a last-minute trip. My wife will be in Miami for a work conference. When the conference is over, she'll be driving to Orlando with my daughter and staying 2 nights at Old Key West. I know they do not charge for parking at the resorts. However, do they charge to park at the parks if you're staying on site? The reason I'm asking is because they were thinking about going to Epcot on their checkout day prior to returning the car at MCO. They want to get in as much time as possible at Epcot before flying home. Her idea was to check out at Old Key West, go to Epcot, and then drive straight to MCO from the park. Nope, you're good because you're an on-site guest. Correct?
Yep, you're an on-site guest till midnight that night when you check out. And that's one of the benefits of staying on site is that you do get free parking at all of the parks. So yeah, we do it all the time. And it's a great way to squeeze every last moment out of your vacation.
It's a great plan.
So.
How much is parking at the parks now? I mean, because I don't pay attention because I'm always on site. I mean, that's one of those things when you're always like, when I always do something like, like I've always had an annual pass and I've always had, like you don't pay attention to those things. But then like all of a sudden, like if you have to, you're like, holy smokes. It's like over $20 a day or something, isn't it? To park a car?
I would
Easily,
think so.
right?
I don't know
You
either.
don't know
I
either,
don't.
probably. I know because we always have like some.
We're the worst. Like
t-
we stay on site every time.
Because
So.
I've seen it when I'm like running races, right? Because you run past the signs, and like when I run past the signs, because I'm slow, right? So I have a lot of time to look at that sign. I'm like, holy cow! Like if I park my car, and I'll have a car though. I'm like I should get a car just to park 7 days on a trip and get half of my annual pass back just on that. Holy smokes!
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's got to be at least $20. I bet you it's more than that because I'm always like on the low side of things. Anyway.
Yeah, it probably is.
Second question. What time do the candlelight processional dining packages go on sale? I see they go on sale on the 29th, but I'm not seeing a specific time. Today's the 28th. This is a recording.
Yeah. They don't really announce a point in time. I can tell you that dining is typically available to book starting at 6 a.m. Eastern, but the packages may or may not be available first thing in the morning. Sometimes it takes a while for them to load them in the system, but if it's something in particular that you're looking for, I'd go ahead and try right then and then try throughout the morning too. And hopefully they'll be loaded in.
And Adon says $30 a day to park.
$30.
Man. I mean, I guess that's what it is if you go to a ball game or, anything. I saw at the new, somebody was showing they have a new place where the Clippers play basketball out in California, the basketball team, and it was $70 to park at that place. I was like, holy cow. I can't imagine what the tickets cost. $70 to park your car. And I know like when we go to Chicago for to see Paige, you go downtown. That's the biggest rip too. Like if you stay at a hotel, holy smokes. Like not paying for parking in Florida is a big deal. Like at your hotel compared to like Chicago, man, they get you. Holy cow.
It's true. Like some of the different hotels that we've stayed at in the city, I think the most we've paid is like $75 a night to park, on top of, I know, right? And it's brutal when you do it, but what can you do? I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah. So. I mean, yeah, we can do like cars got to go somewhere. Yeah. They know it, man. They got you.
100%.
All right, let's see here. Hey, Mike, Pam, Ricky, and Scott. My wife and I have been going to Disney World once or twice a year for the past 20 years. Some of those trips were booked by you, if I remember correctly. Thanks again. Well, thank you, John. Our upcoming trip will be the first since they changed the park reservation rules. I have a room and ticket package booked directly through Disney for October 25th through November 5th. The wording on the website when I booked said I have to make park reservations, but earlier this week, the cast member help center chat told me I don't need them for the tickets I have. Can you tell me if I truly need them or not? Thanks for everything. I've been listening every week now for over 10 years. John is in Illinois. Well, John, you're down there now, so have a good time. Hope you're having a great time. And so, Pam, do you want to go over kind of where we stand? Because it is kind of, we're in this weird area, and I thought by now this would have kind of clarified, but it hasn't. Because we kind of have the have and the have-nots with theme park reservations, and it really is kind of, you got to pay attention where you are with your ticket media.
And know what kind of ticket that you're buying. So when you buy a package directly from Disney or a travel agency like the Magic for Less, who books a package directly from Disney, a package that includes tickets, then you're going to have what's called date-based tickets, and they're going to be bought based on the dates that you're traveling. And because of that, you don't need to worry about park reservations because there are no park reservations for that. They've already sort of taken into account what days you may visit the parks. And that's wide open for you to do. If you have an annual pass or another ticket that's not based on the dates that you are going to Walt Disney World, then if you do need to make park reservations. Now, there are different rules whether you're staying on site or off site and the number of days you can make reservations in advance and things like that. There is some availability issues sometimes, but so those folks do have to make annual pass, a reservation with their annual pass. And there are some other types of tickets that do as well. Typically, those aren't ones that most consumers will get. Sometimes the military tickets are also tickets that will typically need to be getting park reservations. And if you're buying a standalone ticket from Disney or a travel agency like ours, typically you will not have to make up park reservations either. So lots of good pluses there. It is a little confusing, but typically when you're buying a ticket that needs reservations, that's made clear during the buying process.
Yeah.
So.
But if you have a room only reservation and a ticket, you have to be careful. You watch that you have theme park reservations if you need them. If you have a package, which is an 8-digit confirmation number, likely you're good because you have a package.
Right. Yes, you are. And in many cases, you'll be good too with a room only. It just depends on the type of ticket.
Unless you have an annual pass. If you have a room only and an annual pass, then you got to make a park reservation. It's hard to say like a blanket rule, but I'm trying to give like a 90% rule. But I'm scared that I'm going to get
package. You're fine.
Yeah. See, I'm worried like there's going to be some weird package out there that's like old or some kind of, somebody's got like, because there's 12-digit confirmation numbers and those are your room onlys, and there's 8-digit confirmation numbers. Those are your packages, and packages include it's a ticket and it's more than one thing. It's like a ticket and room or ticket dining in room. It's all the components wrapped together. That's where you have the $200 deposit, fully refundable until 30 days out. That's when your final payment's due. Room onlys, it's the first night is your deposit and it's due at check-in, the balance, and refundable until 5 days prior. So there are different rules for both, but I hesitate to give like a blanket rule, but that's kind of the thing you're looking for. So you would have to be more wary of looking at theme park reservations with a room only. With packages, you're covered. That's the good thing about packages. Packages have a lot of, benefits to them. The fully refundable. When you buy the tickets as part of the package, those tickets are still 100% refundable up until 30 days. Like you could just wipe it away at, 31 days, no harm, no foul, nothing. Like once you buy like a standalone ticket, it's not refundable. So there's pluses and minuses, and you don't have to worry about theme park reservations.
There are, but I think as we've seen the increase in annual passes, the annual pass makes sense for less and less folks, right? I mean, that is something that Disney has sort of shifted away from. And you completely understand why in that space because of that. But like Mike said, when you do buy a package, it is fully refundable up until 30 days before. And that's a huge benefit for people. I can't tell you how many people have come to us and they're like, I bought these tickets from somewhere and now I need to cancel. What can I do? And you can't. The only thing you can do is get a credit that can be used at a future date. Yep.
Maureen says she uses something called Superhero, where they find a spot, like when they could they go to a hotel in a city that's got like exorbitant parking prices. And it says they'll find a nearby parking spot for a fraction of the cost. And in big cities, there's often a garage nearby that has like a way lower cost, and you'll put your car there and save you money.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You're being more creative than I am.
I'm such a it's called Spot Hero. Sorry. Spot Hero. That's like a super Spot Hero. But yeah, that's man, like I'm a Midwest dude. Like that's one thing, when I listen to tons of podcasts, right? And I love about podcasts is like you get different perspectives on people's lives because, some people live in New York City and like they've never driven and they're, 45 years old, never had a driver's license, and they take public transportation. We don't have public transportation where I live. You know what I'm saying? Like you would never be able to go to Taco Bell if you didn't have like I've been driving it since I had a riding lawnmower when I was like 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you drove a go-kart, riding lawnmower, and a tractor where I'm from. And I skipped school on my 16th birthday and got my license. So did my daughter. You know, Mallory's had a car since 2 days after she was 16. It's just how it is. And, you know, it's so funny because like to think about, like when I go to Chicago, man, it kills me. Like everything's free around here and cheap, you know, like to park and stuff like that. And then I go up there, holy cow. Like I know I love seeing Paige, but man, I can't wait to get out of that city when I'm there. I'm just like, I'm not made for this. Like downtown there just gives me I get nervous. I know I'm getting old. Like I can't.
You're sounding like my grandma.
I can't take the big city, man. I get older I get, man. It's like too expensive and there's too many people. I can't do $75 parking spaces, man. I'm like, man, I can't. I know, man. It's just like I don't know if it's like the last 5 years or what, man. My brain's getting messed up. I can't do it. And anyway, Andrew's got a question. She says, "Hello, would love everyone's advice here on what you would do. Love y'all's feedback. We currently have a split stay for mid-December at Pop for 4 nights and Coronado Springs, Grand Destino Tower for 3 nights. We were able to get the quick service dining plan for the Pop Century part. We have 5 adults going with 2 rooms each at both. We were able to take advantage of the new holiday promotion for the nights at Coronado Springs. We can switch for the whole week at Coronado Springs, Grand Destino Tower, but we'll lose the free dining for no increase in cost. Would save about $200 overall. We've been to Pop before, but not since they had the Skyliner. None of us have been to Coronado Springs. Hate losing out on the free dining, even for a few days. We'll be there from 12/14 to 12/21. It'll be, they're going to be, the adults are going to be in their 50s and a 17-year-old daughter and a 20-year-old son. What would the fine folks at BOGP do?" So you're giving up the free dining and you're giving up the Skyliner, but you're gaining Coronado Springs for the entire stay. That's a good question. Because I like 2 experiences on one trip. I do kind of like that. But I like Coronado Springs. The tower is almost a deluxe resort.
I know.
That's a tough call. I don't have a good answer. Man.
I know, it really is a tough call.
Really
How many nights are they at Pop?
So they're going to be at Pop for 4, Grand Destino for 3. So that would put them at Grand Destino for 7. That's sad. Man, this is, I mean, really, you can't go wrong with it. The good news is if you keep it as is, you're going to have great, because Pop is fine. They got 2 rooms at each. Man. And you got the Skyliner so convenient because it was, especially with the split stay, because then what I would encourage them to do is during the split while they're at Pop, I would totally focus on Epcot and the studios during those days.
Right.
And then while you're at Coronado, focus on Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom, because that would make more sense.
Right. Oh, there isn't first. You're right, Mike. There's no wrong answer. I like experiencing 2 resorts too, but I will say the past few times when I've been able to stay in one place for a whole 7 nights, I've really enjoyed that as well. Like I see the benefits. Now, you know, when I go, if we're there for 8 nights, I'm usually staying at 3 different resorts.
100%.
And that's just how it goes. But I would not recommend that for everyone, I will say. When it's just me and my family, sometimes I'm like, I just want to stay in one place for the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So, so I'm going to say, here's what I'm going to do. Like if this was me, I would keep it as is and do the 2 resorts, because as much as, and Coronado is my favorite resort right now for for like the overall, like best value in your stay. I think Coronado is where it's at right now. I think you get the best bang for your buck. Coronado. Mm-hmm. It's got a great location, got great dining on site, great rooms, whether you're in the tower or not. I just love the vibe there. Great pool, good running, 2 fitness centers. I mean, it's really got it going on. However, I like the combo of Pop Century because that's a really nice value. Skyliner is, I mean, she's never experienced a Skyliner. The Skyliner is a game changer when you're going to the studios and to Epcot. But make sure that, here's the thing though, make sure you work your schedule, especially because you're going to be there during busy times, to be, mid-December, the 14th to the 21st, do weight your schedule to where you are when you're at Pop. You're taking advantage of Epcot and the studios, and then save Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom towards the Coronado, because that's when you're going to want to take the bus more. And if you do that, I think that would work better in your favor, and you'll have a great time. Because I think at 2 resorts in 7 days is doable. Sometimes the switch day, not perfect, but yeah. And keep your free dining offer. Yeah, do it. I say stay. But either way, it's fine. Okay, real quick.
We're very wishy-washy.
We are. But I mean, because really you can't, I mean, that is really right. I mean, that's like a 50-50. That's not.
Yeah.
There's really no right answer on that one, man. That's right down the middle. Good girl. She's sleeping. All right. Vera Mike here over on YouTube says, will we see anything happen with the Galactic Star Cruiser? That's a good question, man. That thing has been sitting there like Riley sitting here on her bed. She's out like a light, man. That thing is just, it's a dog lying there sleeping over there behind speaking of the studios. We haven't heard a peep out of that thing in about a year. What's happening, Pam? Anything?
I don't know. I wish I did know. I did get to experience it, and it's actually one of the best things I've ever done at Walt Disney World. I was really sad to see it close, because I think it offered such a unique opportunity. There's always rumors out there about what they might do, but I've heard nothing that is anything that they're acting on or doing anything like that. So I don't know. We just have to wait and see and hope that it comes back and for something, because it's right there at Hollywood Studios.
It's crazy though that, I mean, we've had these discussions over the years. We've been doing this for over 16 years at this point. And the fact that we got something like that built, that would have been crazy to think about when we started the show back in 2008, 2009. And what's even crazier than the discussion that something like that got built, it was like it's a boutique kind of an experience, not even kind of a hotel, because you spent the night there for a couple of nights. Very immersive, interactive experience. But even more than that is the fact that that thing is sitting there right now, empty. Like, I think that's more of the story than even that the thing got built and the whole experience. Like that it's almost gone from everybody's memory at this point. It's crazy. Like it's.
I'm sure most people don't even know about it.
Do you think at this point most people don't even know?
I think most people don't know about it. Yeah, wow. We sort of live in a bubble in that. We had just gotten back from a summit and for Earmark Travel Agency owners, and they were reminding us that at least a third of the people who are going to Walt Disney World haven't been there since Pandora has opened.
That is crazy. I think that's the problem for us, right? And I'm talking about our listeners, right? Our audience, is that we are so immersed. Like, you ask us how much a cupcake is at, the patisserie, we could tell you. Like, we're all in, but
right.
We're not the audience. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not the typical Disney visitor. And I think that's what I think it's important that you get this kind of info when you go to these Earmark conferences and stuff.
It's valuable when they share that kind of information to us, because we are really in a bubble. And I'm sure a lot of the folks that we're talking to right now are sort of in the same. I remember, I say this often, but first of all, I remember going as a kid. And my family actually went more often than most, but Disney World was not a place that everyone went to every year on vacation, right? I mean, that wasn't something that they did. And I remember the times that I went growing up, my family was sort of obsessed with it. My grandmother was the first one who sort of got us into it all. And we all have such fond memories that I think that sort of carries through. But when we would go as a kid, the first time I went, the Magic Kingdom was the only thing there. We spent all week at the Magic Kingdom. Like, we did a separate land each day or whatever, because the lines were just incredible. Like, I have, lots of memories of Pirates of the Caribbean, because I think we spent a day and a half in line for Pirates of the Caribbean.
But you had no problem, because that was just that was going to Disney back then. That was the experience. That was the excitement. It was the anticipation of getting in the boat, and you appreciated the queue more back then. It's like, ooh, there's a cannon there. There's people playing chess, skeletons. It was, the expectations were different.
I think so. That's what I mean. Anytime something changes and the world is like freaking out because it's different, like it's easy to go back to that point and be like, well, the first time I went, I just, I just remember still being, it was a completely different experience and still really magical. Like that's the thing. I think that you're just sort of comparing it to what you know now. So when all of us who are in the Disney bubble are freaking out about something or other, there's a whole world out there who doesn't even know about it and doesn't know the difference.
So I wanted to bring this up on this show today because I was waiting for listener questions because kind of the catch-all. Disney has that marketing campaign that I dogged them on about 2 months ago where they talk about showing your Disney moment. Like there's like a shotgun crew coming around, like, who's got a Disney moment? And like, everybody pulls out their phone and they're like, I have one, somebody in the crowd. Yeah. Like it's like spontaneous. It's not because there's like 7 camera people there. And they're like, oh, here's mine. And the guy put the daughter on the shoulders at the moment, right? And I'm like, dude, don't, what are you doing? We don't want people putting kids on their shoulders. And we rallied about that forever. They have another one out that was on during the football game, the LSU Texas A&M football game, which is a great game on Saturday night. And I'm like, oh yeah, because they're on ABC. So this one rocked. They nailed this one. And so I got to give them kudos on this one. They got it back. So the premise of this one was, again, they're in a restaurant or something. Who's got a Disney moment? And everybody in the restaurant's like, I got one. His dad pulls out a phone. I can find it. And he's going through his pictures. Here it is. He's like, let me show you this picture. And he's like, everybody leans in. All right, let me tell you the story. And he shows a picture. It's a kid with a Mickey Mouse, a little stuffed Mickey Mouse. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm in because I got to hear the story of this little plush Mickey Mouse. They got me already. He's like, so this is my son. And I'm like, well, we kind of figured that probably. But okay, here we go. Glad you told me. We adopted him. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm going to be crying by the end of this 22 seconds already. Why are you playing with me, man, already? I'm like, oh, yeah, here we go. We adopted him and we took him to, and the only thing he had when we adopted him was his stuffed Mickey Mouse. I'm like, stop already. So when they adopted him, they took him to Magic Kingdom, to Walt Disney World. And so they took him, I guess the first ride they took him on was a Jungle Cruise. And so I'm almost choking up just trying to tell the story.
I know, right?
I love this stuff. This is why I love Disney. It's they put him on the boat, right? They're all having a good time. Skipper's like, doing his thing and everything. Well, apparently Mickey goes overboard. Like the kid drops him or something. He goes in the water. The skipper stops the boat and fishes Mickey out of the water because he says something like, every kid, you can't go through the rest of your day at the Magic Kingdom without your stuffed Mickey. And so the dad shows again the picture of Mickey and I think the skipper or something, Mickey with the kid with Mickey. And I'm just like, and that was his Disney moment that he shared. And I'm just like, that's exactly what this is all about, right? I mean, that nailed it because it's a small story, but it's a story of family coming together and celebrating a seminal moment in your life that is marked by going to Disney. And I think we all kind of have those, but I thought they nailed it on that promotion. That really hit me.
They did, and they sort of talked about this. We had some of the folks there that were responsible for some of these campaigns, and they talked about how they were setting up this question that really only Disney could ask. And it was to go to people and see that, they knew that at least, a high percentage of folks that they approached with this question were going to have a picture of a Disney moment. I love it
because so many of us do.
Their phone. And we all do. I mean, all of us listening will have it. But when they were talking about that, when they were showing us some of the different clips that they had, it was completely overwhelming because it like reminded me and brought me right there to like why I love what I get to do every day. In some way, we get to be a part of people's best days, the days that become your favorite day, right? I mean, so many of our favorite days happened at one of the Disney destinations. And the fact that we have a chance to be a part of that with someone, that we have a chance to be part of someone's best day is a pretty cool thing.
It's a privilege. So. It's 100% a privilege you get to do what we do. It's so awesome. So let me give you an example. So on iOS, if you have an iPhone, there's an option to set up your home screen where it will it's called Photo Shuffle, and it'll go through your photos and you can pick your favorite people. So I have Pam, Mallory, and Paige is my people, and it does like landscape pictures that I take. So those are the 4 things, and just goes through, and I got, 30,000 pictures on my phone. And so it just, every hour it changes. On the hour, it changes a picture. So it's got 30,000 pick from. And so right here is my screen for the people watching. Oh, it just changed. Oh, it just changed. Well, now it's Mallory with a cow at the rodeo. So it's not as great of a story. But the picture it was before I pushed the button there and it rolled over to the next hour was Mallory biting into a medal at a Run Disney race when she was a little kid, like at a little Run Disney race. It was over at ESPN, at the ESPN area on the track. And, she's 16 now, almost 17. This was back when she was like 6. So that could be like right there. If they asked me, I could have told a whole story about that. She met Carissa that day, the announcer, got her picture with her. Like, she's not a runner, but like, I think actually that weekend we ran a 5K together through Epcot. We got a picture, like, just did it side by side, father and daughter. And she ran the little mile run that day before. That was a father-daughter moment. Like, we got to do something together. Like, again, you're right. I mean, I love that kind of stuff. I would have loved to got to meet the marketing people, the advertising people, because what a campaign. I love that idea because
it is.
I would love to hear our listeners, like, what's your Disney moment? Like, show me the picture, tell me the story. I love that because, dude, I'd be crying. Like, I couldn't do it because I'd be crying for everybody. I'm a crier. I mean, Scott's been telling me about the senior night stuff for Emily because she's going through it. I'm like, dude, stop. I can't. Like, because Mallory will be doing that next year. I'll be a mess. Anyway, let's get to the last question of the day. It is from Melissa. I was just on my morning walk with my dog listening to your most recent podcast, and I had the thought, I'll ask you this. When you ask a guest, what is something you might want to bring back from the old days of Disney World? I had a thought about a slightly different version of the question because it made me think back to my childhood and my first few visits to Disney World. I remember thinking about how I loved driving in that long entrance road. You could turn your radio to the channel to hear all the information about the parks, and it just felt like you were driving into a completely different world, leaving the real world behind, and everything was so clean and manicured and all full of flowers. And so anyway, I was thinking one interesting question you might want to ask was your first impression of your first visit to Disney World and what made you feel like you wanted to return. What was it about those first impressions that brought you back again and again, possibly? Anyway, just a thought. Love you guys and your channel. Have a great day, Melissa. So she's asking, like, when I ask my guests on Mondays, or in the Monday trip report shows, I always kind of have a lead-in question, but I never got to experience that radio question. So I think that's super, the radio channel, and I've heard a lot of people talk about it because I love radio. My dad works in radio and stuff. I don't love that, but what was it that hooked you as we kind of wrap up? Because to me, it is the manicure and the logistics. I've said that a million times. I love how perfectly manicured things are. And I love the 24/7, 365 of the place. It just never stops.
I agree. It felt to me like so much more than a vacation. It felt it felt magical. I know that feels very cliche, but it truly felt magical. It just felt different than anything I've ever experienced. And I think too, I mean, in my life, I feel like vacations were so important because when I was younger, my parents got divorced, but we would travel with each set, right? We would, with each set of parents, we would go places with my mom and my stepdad, and Disney was one of them. And we would go places with my dad. And so, I mean, I know that maybe looking back on my memories, like your memory could be a little faulty, right? And you place a little more importance on it than you should. But I just remember every time I went, it was just so different than anything else out there to experience. It really is. There are other theme parks, but Disney feels very different, even today, even this day. I mean, this is why my family and I end up going back again and again. There is just something about it that just feels different and feels special. And you feel it when you're there for sure. And you feel it looking back on those things too. So,
and I do love that there is a tangible, like, gate or arch that you drive under. That's like, there's a moment that you have arrived. It is like mean, it's sad on the way out because you do have to pass the other way.
You pass through the gates. Yeah.
You see it coming, like, I'm going to be under it in 10 seconds. 9, 8. Oh, I'm off property. Bummer.
Yeah.
I'll be back. But yeah, but it is cool because, sometimes, if you get a good Uber driver, they'll be like, hey, here we go. I've had Uber drivers do that. Hey, we're going to, hey, like it's cool. But, sometimes they could care less. But like the Magical Express drivers, RIP, used to kind of make a big deal out of that and stuff. I mean, it's an experience. I mean, it's what we look forward to for a long, long time. It's kind of our goal. And it's like, it's almost like touchdown. We made it.
Right.
It's cool.
You're about to embark on something special.
Yeah. It's like you've made it. It's like Clark Griswold, putting the star on the tree, kind of thing.
Yes.
Like, hopefully a squirrel doesn't come out and get you. Who knows? You gotta be careful. Watch out for the squirrel. All right, we're gonna get out of here, and we'll be back again on Friday. We're gonna have a good time. Friday, you know what the show's gonna be about? We don't either. So come back and find out. We are always sponsored by the Magic for Less Travel. One thing we know is you're going to get first-class concierge level service with each and every trip. Whether it's out to the West Coast, Disneyland is happening. It's awesome. It's fun. So is Walt Disney World. That's why we love it so much. Disney Cruise Line, the place to be out at sea with awesome onboard credits as well. And see the world with Adventures by Disney. Our services are absolutely free to you. Check out all the details, and it's a great place to get some great trip planning tools right there to start. You're thinking about a trip, just check out all the great pictures, great tools to get that trip planning started over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. That really does help us out. And patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. That's where you can support the show, just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. And thank you to our supporters. We appreciate you so very much. Give us a follow on the social media. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. Pam's at TMFLT You could also follow the show on Instagram at Be Our Guest Pod. Please do that on Instagram as well. And we'll have our live call-in show this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. We have a great time on those. Scott joins me. We open up the phone lines. Those are a hoot and a half. It'll be super dark because, again, the time change. But, it's the internet, so who cares? And because we don't do these outside. We do them inside. We have electricity. So I don't even know why I said that. And don't forget the Clubhouse. It's never dark there either because it's on the internet. Just come over, beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. Uncrustables for everybody, as Jason says. So bring them. I think he likes the strawberry ones. I am a fan of peanut butter and jelly. All right, we're going to get out of here, and we'll be back again on Friday, but of course we'll have the replay of the Sunday show tomorrow for Halloween. So until we get back together again, you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and boo to you.
You've been listening to the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. If you have questions, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please visit our website at beourguestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you real soon.